Donald Wells has been posting nonstop on social media, on Facebook, for the past, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. And it's always about himself. And he said, Chris McDonough, wow. I thought we were on the road, finally, to try and figure out what happened to Summer. You chose the evil one's way. You put out their ex-homicide detective and all this and that, but are a ravening wolf and could care less about finding Summer. All you care about is keeping your podcast going. You made sure to put all the focus on me. No, you did that. And take it completely off my daughter. Many of the police records you found on me to dig up dirt weren't mine. You tricked me into believing you were my friend. And I really thought you were on my side to help find my daughter. You sit back and point fingers as if you were an angel. You tried to tell me last night you were perfect. And I have to point out to you that you were a liar. Because the Bible says all have sinned. And it stunned you as if you never read it. Then and only then you admitted you have sinned. You think you're perfect and way above most people. I will find others who want to find Summer. You need to cease and desist your destructive podcast immediately. You have chosen Lucifer's way. Another post, he said, Chris McDonough, you lied to me. Chris McDonough, I trusted you to help me find my daughter. And you lied. Instead, you turned it into a Jerry Springer show. I will do everything to bring you down with lawyers for slander. You want to take what little life I've found by the grace of God and turn it all into a circus to make you look good and make you money. You don't care if my daughter is ever found. You made it about you again. And nothing to do with Summer again. Chris McDonough twisted everything I said. He's the biggest liar along with my niece Trish and all the liars. So he posted a link to a YouTube video about Stephanie Crow. I think Chris is a monster and should be put away for getting innocent children convicted of crimes they didn't commit. It's cops like him that give police a bad name. So this morning he posted, Chris McDonough, so I know you're exposing me with everything you got and then some. That's what you do. I fell for many traps here lately, but no more. Instead of attacking you, I should have been praying for you. We all need forgiveness and we all need help. Say what you want about me. I'm turning back to God and Summer, and yes, I must pray for my enemies, as Christ said.
Okay, Chris, sorry I kind of got home a little late here, so I'm going to still try to shoot this video. Here we go. The old generator, and then the road and everything, back door. So, yeah. There's a creek down there. See the road in the distance. Definitely tell it's mostly dogs that's been through here. There's the road. But yeah. And earlier today, they said there was, when they come up here, somebody was on a property and run off. I can't confirm that, but that's what they were saying. I don't know though. Yeah. So that quick, right to the road. There's our mailbox. And this is where the search dogs trail ended. That's where the trail goes up through there. That's about it. And then of course somebody said they spotted a truck parked here somewhere. We don't know. I didn't see it. That's just what somebody said. But so hopefully that helps y'all. Thank you so much.
Chris McDonough of the interview room spoke to Donald Wells over the phone, I think over the course of about a week. So I wanted to talk about Chris McDonough of the interview room. He has a distinguished career in law enforcement, and he's a member of the Cold Case Foundation. And Donald Wells has recently gone off the rails, threatening to sue Chris McDonough for being a liar and for slander, when he himself agreed to speak to him about his missing daughter, Summer Wells. He's a member of the Cold Case Foundation, and Donald Wells has recently gone off the rails, threatening to sue Chris McDonough for being a liar and for slander, when he himself agreed to speak to him about his missing daughter, Summer Wells. So Chris McDonough is an expert on death investigations, interviewing, criminal behavior analysis, been honored to train Native American Homicide Task Force members as part of the Cold Case Foundation, appointed by the U.S. President's initiative, Operation Lady Justice. He's been serving in public safety since 1982, spent nearly 25 years with the Oceanside Police Department in Southern California, including 13 years as a homicide detective. Chris has investigated and solved hundreds of homicides and consulted nationally on some of the country's highest profile child homicide and kidnapping investigations, including JonBenet Ramsey, Elizabeth Smart, Leticia Hernandez, and a West Memphis 3 interview of Christopher Morgan. He's an expert on predator behavior involving those who choose children as victims, having interviewed serial child killers on death row, including child murderers Wesley Allen Dodd, and Brandon Wilson. The Wilson interviews started the family restroom movement in the United States. He's lectured at university level on criminal behavior and victimology. What I'm going to share with you tonight is solid. I don't speculate. I don't guess. This is real data. I want to talk about Don tonight. I want to have a real honest appraisal of where he's at and what we talked about today. We have to focus on him first. Kind of breaking down who is Don. I've come to know him now a little bit deeper. We've probably been talking for at least a week. He did not want to sit down with me. A couple of times we talked about why that would be. He kept telling me it was a gag order. Quite frankly, I wasn't convinced that he wasn't dodging me. We talked about that. I want to give these family members the respect that they deserve. Even though they could be in the circle, I don't know yet. And he said he had come to the conclusion a bingo card of about 1,000. This is not a random abduction, in his opinion. My belief at this point is somebody knows that is connected to the property. Somebody had access to the property. Even Don and I talked about the possibilities of an accident. He said, no, it's not an accident, and that's his opinion. We're going to get down to the nitty-gritty here. Maybe it's not somebody laying in the basement or anything to that scenario at all. I asked what the boys were doing. He said they were playing Minecraft. When he came up, he saw the boys around the shed. So he goes on to talk about Don's criminal history. And then he says, why is this important? Past behavior is an indication of future behavior. All behavior is purposeful. With Don, there's a brief documented criminal history. We talked about this. I gave him a heads up. In Utah, he told me he ripped off a guy's truck. He hotwired a guy's truck. Got all his stuff and basically sold it. At that time, he mentioned he was struggling with an addiction. He was doing a variety of drugs, cocaine, and a mixture of other things. He admitted, I've got this real problem in my past. He had a forgery charge. That means he's good at telling stories. He was convicted and spent time in prison. In prison, I kind of have this one-off kind of, he had a one-off transformation. He saw a book in his celly's bookshelf, and he reached up and grabbed the book. It was the beginning of his religious journey. So basically, he found God in prison. Admittedly, he said, I've fallen so many times. I do alcohol, I do drugs, whatever the situation is. I just keep going backwards in this circle. He admitted he has some anger issues. He admitted he's trying to do his best with the way things are going in his life right now. With car payments, he says he's paying about $600 a month for that Subaru, so he works all the time. He's trying to put food on the table. Don told me in the past he gets hot. His temper can go 0 to 60. Maybe he's got it under control. Maybe this church thing is helping him. I don't know. He tells me that at this point, maybe that's the case. He admitted, I'm not perfect. Nobody is. He admitted, look, I do have a hot temper. I want to be sensitive here to Candus. He has had a drinking problem. I think Candus is classic into some other psychological issues, so I want to be sensitive to her. Everything ends with, that's the end of it. In terms of, I don't remember, I can't recall, perhaps, I'm not sure. This is a habit that he has. He has deflective personality traits, narcissistic behavior. I asked him, let's talk about family sexual abuse. Don admitted, yes, he had sexual contact with his little sister when I was young, and she was younger than me. He said he had a motorcycle, a little dirt bike. They would go out and he would touch her. It validated everything this victim has reported. Donald says she's just mad at him now. Because their father, who is not deceased, left the property in Tennessee to him. And he's probably sitting in the will somewhere. And all the family is going to be out of the picture because Don is going to get all of the inheritance. That is the MO of a narcissistic personality trait. Don is not dumb in any way, shape, or form. He knows when he needs to try to control the narrative. There's another thread that runs through this, the religious idea. He doesn't trust police. He doesn't trust law enforcement as a whole. Don believes Summer has been abducted. Don believes Summer has possibly been killed and buried somewhere. He said he races home, doesn't go up the driveway. He goes past his property to the shed. And he sees the boys down there. And he tells them, get back up to the property. And he's driving the red Subaru, and it took him about 30 to 40 minutes. And he's not exactly sure when he arrived home, but he thought it was around 5:30. And then he comes up to the house. Nobody's blocking the driveway. He drives up the driveway, gets up to the top, and nobody is there. He beat the authorities there, and he's upset about that. Chris McDonough said, well, I talked to the authorities. We'll just leave that there. They were at the bottom of the driveway when he pulled up. There's been a lot of talk about the clothing that Summer was wearing. This is important because she picked out her outfit that day and she was going to wear it for her first day of school. I asked him, when you got there, did the police take your blood down at the police station? And he said yes. They took both him and Candus's blood, and she tested positive for marijuana. What theories in your mind do you have, Don? He said, well, there are a lot of drug dealers in that area. Some had access to the property. He said he let a guy go the day before from the company where they work because he's just been sketching. He said there was a red Tacoma parked in his driveway, but he doesn't know why or where that came from. For the last 5 years, Summer's been sharing the bed with Mom and Dad. Chris McDonough twisted everything I said. He's the biggest liar, along with my niece Trish, and all the liars.